Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today we're going to be going over the brand new reveals that we've had over the last 3 days. Each day they've basically shown off 3 different cards plus 2 bonus cards, which is pretty cool. So we do actually know a decent chunk of the new box already, and we do know, obviously, we've got some of the new structure deck stuff as well, which is all very, very exciting. I think it is safe to say the majority of people are quite hyped for this. I think Dark Galaxy, Light Galaxy, the Sevens Road stuff as well, I think are all very, very exciting. I think there are some people that are going to be very excited for the Dragonic stuff, but I think they are going to be playing second fiddle to everything else. I think the Dragonic stuff is cool, but it's not as high impact as the rest. Like, realistically, if you're into the Dragonic stuff, it's going to be because, you know, you played the Dragonic deck back when, you know, Duel Links came out with Rush back then, or you just kind of like the art, because they're not really an anime archetype per se. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually do manage to do anything. I think I want them to be good. I think it would be cool if they were good, but I am not optimistic, especially in comparison to the other decks that are coming out. They do look to be stronger. But let's see who we have in chat. We have Luis Fernando. 2 days for next box. The rush is going for a next level. Yeah, it's going to be pretty nuts, right? It's crazy to think that we are already at Go Rush Fusions, right? Because they could have dragged it out, right? There are so many other decks that could have come out with like these like really good skills to make bad decks somewhat playable. Like all of the Go Rush stuff that we've skipped. Like there's just so much of it, right? We haven't got any of the like the Soul Jersey stuff. We haven't got like the normal reptiles. We haven't got just so much really. There's actually a ridiculous amount of stuff that we've skipped over. We're still missing a lot of 7 stuff even. Although the really bad 7 stuff does start to seem to be coming out in random places. Like we've got like the cleaning Santa stuff. That stuff's now all out, which is weird. The Kappa stuff from Go Rush we're slowly collecting as well. We got the Magma and the Earth Pyro stuff. That's all just kind of randomly appeared. The Sea Serpents, which we weren't sure if we were going to get in that's now suddenly come out. We're still missing quite a lot. We're still missing fish, cats, outer space. We're still missing chairs. I think a lot of people are really, really wanting chairs. But be interesting to see where we do go with that. Getting amazing power creep. We have Dragson in the chat with the first. We have Victor in the chat. I want to warn you that the Twitch phone app is a bit bugged at the moment. Try restarting the app if it won't let you chat. If that doesn't work, well, I don't know. It worked for me. Fair. We have Hidden Bankai. Gaia nerfs in less than a day. It's going to be weird because we're going to get, like, the nerfs are going to come in. Then we're going to still be waiting a couple days for the box. So we're going to be in, like, a new fake format for a little bit, which will be interesting, to say the least. We have Zaki Boys, no notification. I mean, that's nothing to do with me, mate. We, if Twitch ain't notifying you, that's Twitch. That's Twitch. Crash out if that happens. Funny, though. I mean, the worst thing is it's the 9th. Something has to come with the box, more bundles. Yeah, that is one thing we are going to talk about. I will not be doing the Thursday stream. We'll instead be moving it to Friday. But I am busy on Friday. I'm actually leaving my city. I'm going to a different city. I'm going to be out of town for Friday and Saturday. So I might be streaming earlier. I'm going to have to work around it. It's going to be... We're definitely going to be doing a Friday stream. We haven't worked out the logistics just yet, but we will work it out, and I will post an announcement on the Discord when we have worked that out. 95k for everything. And most likely DH and something else. I mean, Dark Hole kind of makes sense, right? It does kind of make sense to me, but at the same time, do we want Dark Hole? Like, I don't know, man. Dark Hole is a scary card. Dark Hole, when Mirror Force came out in OCG, so many games were won or lost on whether you resolved Mirror Force. And Dark Hole basically doubled that up, so now it was like, okay, if you activate Dark Hole, your chances of winning just went up like 30%, right? If you resolve Mirror Force, your chances of winning just went up like 30%. So now you're just doubling the number of cards that are just like, this card drastically increases your chance to win. So it's a little bit spooky. It is a little bit spooky. But I do think we should talk about that, and we'll also be predicting a potential second bundle, because I would expect us to get 2. We don't need 2. They could just give us 1, but I don't know. I think 2 feels right. We got Ursus in the chat. Peak Rush Duel Links, true. I have 16k for the box. With 500 gems, you still get 2 resets. I would have had more, but I built worms. Yeah, and then everything. Lots of time before the another box. Alpaca's in the chat. New interaction just dropped right after I spent all of my gems on worms. Hello, hello, Alpaca. Yeah, I mean, worms still a cool deck. Might be a little bit overshadowed by the new stuff, but it's still a cool deck. We have Promanicist in the chat. So many leaks now, we know almost the whole box. I mean, we know all of the good stuff, most likely, right? Wild Tomato disappeared. No Apocalypse. Overrush Rare is sad, though. Very true. This box is going to be insane. Dragonic is not going to be that good. Much hype, unless we get more in the selection box. Otherwise, next box. Hello, Dwan on the 3-stream streak. Welcome, welcome. Where Dairy Deck and Plant Support. Plant Support would be great. I would really like to see some Plant Support, but we're just going to have to keep waiting. And is that the world champion himself, Quantum Cubes, in the chat? The Plant Fusion is so bad, it could be an N. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. The Plant Fusions are fine. There's like... The Plant Fusions, the issue is, they've never really been good. But they've also never really been, like, awful. They're just kind of in that sweet spot. They, like, if I was to define them, they are SRs, right? They're not game-breakingly strong. They're not so bad they're useless. They are, like, fine. And I think the earlier we got them, the better they would have been. But the later and later we get, the more it's going to be like, are these going to do anything at this point? But again, it's Duel Links. A skill could fix all problems. We just have to wait and see. Pack pulls on stream. We're not getting Dark Holo. Again, I don't think we are. I don't think we're getting Dark Hole. That doesn't mean we're not getting Dark Hole, right? I think it's always important to consider the possibility, right? Would Dark Hole be good for the game? Almost certainly not. Would Konami drop it randomly? Also, like, potentially. They've done stranger stuff in the past, right? Realistically. Are you open stream when the box arrive? Probably not, because it will probably drop very early for me. But I'll have to do it. The way I look at it is, we'll probably have to start the stream either an hour or 2 hours earlier. Because like I said, I'm going to be very busy in the evening. And I'm also very busy tomorrow as well. Ironically, Thursday, kind of a good day for me. But the box isn't dropping on Thursday, so we don't get to work around that. In the selection box, the issue is we don't have most of the cards. IRL even. Plants is a sucks. I mean, plants are cool. I like the plants. I like the fact that they kind of have everything that they should need to be a good deck, but they've always struggled to really do anything. Like, they are like the definition of a fair deck. It's really weird. Plants are cool, what the fuck? Galactica balls. Hello, Ray. Welcome, welcome. 2 a.m. it would drop like, yes, yeah, we're not doing that. A Graceful Charity or Monster Reborn, I'm guessing. Oh, any particular reason you think that? Bearing in mind, the bundles don't have to be legends, right? They could be anything. They could just be generically good monster spells or traps. Have we got any non-legend monster bundles yet? I don't think we have, right? I think all of our bundles are legends, and then it's like Forever Freeze, Slime, Rice Terrace. I'm trying to think if there is any. I don't think there is. Cyber Assault Dragon, there you go. And that was a weird bundle as well, right? Because we got 2 of that. Which I think is the only Rush bundle we've had like that. I don't know if that's a normal speed thing or not. Grand Extreme. Grand Extreme. I mean, it's not a monster, but yes, it's a non-trap card, for sure. For sure. Reborn turns on Cutie Trap, and a lot of decks we're getting Fill the Grave and use it at the moment. You're not wrong. It would be a good card in the sense of it does interact with a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing. It is, though, very, very powerful. Monster Reborn especially is really good for, like, fusion decks. Because you can either just bring back a whole ass fusion. Because that's the thing, right? Monster Reborn gains more value the higher investment monster you bring out. So if you bring out like a level 7 or an 8 monster, bam, that's a lot of value, right? Because you've suddenly got a huge discount on your guy. If you bring back a fusion monster that was made using, like, let's say you bring back Galactica Oblivion, or Eternal Galactica Oblivion, right? That is effectively a Galactica Oblivion, which is, I guess, depending on how you look at it, it's kind of worth 3 cards, but it's not really, because you're always going to, like, cheat it out, right? You're going to get it out somehow easier, whether that's Secret Order, whether it's something else, right? But let's just say it's 3 cards now for simplicity. Then it needs 2 other monsters and the fusion spell. So that's kind of a 6-card investment card that you can get out for 1 card, which is kind of nuts, right? That's kind of nuts. It was a double bundle. There you go. Burst of Destruction. Yes, Burst of Destruction as well. And like we said, Monster Reborn, we don't have its character, technically. We got its Go Rush characters, but details, it's not related to them. I don't know if it matters. So when it comes to your ace monster, I think that is when you'd have to have the corresponding character. I don't think it matters so much for Monster Reborn. Although Monster Reborn was a very big deal in the anime. So if anyone hasn't watched the anime, there was like basically an entire arc around Monster Reborn. And you could argue there were like 2 arcs that heavily featured Monster Reborn. One in Sevens and one in Go Rush. So it is a high impact anime card. So I could understand wanting to like story gate it effectively and bring it out like when it makes sense to. At the same time, it's not an ace monster. So I don't know if it's going to be like held to the same like stipulation. It's a weird one. We got Monster Reincarnation way before Yuo. I mean, yeah. It's more of his ace than his monsters. Yeah, it's not though, is it? Like nobody's ace card is a spell card. Like let's be real here. I get what you're saying. I understand what we're saying. And logically what you're saying does make sense, but I think from a like hype, releasing boss monsters, having guys be your ace, having like the sick intro animation, like it's gonna be, you know, probably Ecdysis Caligulaon for Yuha. And that's again assuming Yuga Gohar is even a playable character. I hope he is. I really hope he is, but we still just don't know. We just don't know. We just do not know. But I hope everyone has saved up their gems. I've currently got the 99999 on here. I haven't bothered counting up, but we've got like, I mean, how many have we got at the moment? I think we got like 30 pages. Yeah, we've got 30 pages at the moment. So I should have enough for everything except like selections. If they do drop a selection box, it's going to be a bit spooky. I'm still kind of holding out that they won't, but if they do, it just means I won't necessarily be able to get everything from the selection box immediately, right? That's not the end of the world. We'll just grind it out if that is the case. That is just what happens, right? My credit card will cry. Exactly. The thing is, I could just spend, but like, it's one of those things where I just don't want to because of like the morals of it, right? I don't mind supporting Konami, right? I do not mind giving them a bit of money because I play their game. I make content on their game. I'm all well and good to give them some money, right? But I don't also like the precedent of them creating something that is designed to like sponge money off of you. Like, it's one of those things that I would almost rather there was a way, because I was talking to some people about this before, but I would just like it if there was like a whale product where it was like, here's some like alt arts. Here's some, like, really cool, like, sleeves and stuff. I mean, they kind of do that, right? They have the, in the shop, you can get cosmetics, right? But, like, put, like, overrushes in the cosmetic shop. And then, like, drip feed them to players. But then it's like, oh, if you want this other stuff, or the Chronicle stuff, that'd be excellent to, charge money for, right? I just don't like it when they put something very competitively viable or, like, a mandatory staple card in a selection box. That just feels really, really bad. I just am not a fan of that, personally. Chronicle chips. Chronicle chips would be a good one as well. Need more gems, please. More selection. It would be weird if it wasn't a selection box. You're explaining why I don't do selection boxes. Exactly. Selection boxes are... The fact that there is a decent amount of people in the community that just straight up don't do selection boxes, it tells you there's something like wrong with selection boxes, right? But it is what it is. It is what it is. Alright. I guess we'll jump in. And I guess first we'll get the speed stuff out of the way. There isn't really much here, but there was tier list update, so I just wanted to like briefly go over this. We're not going to read everything because as much as I love that there is a top player council, as much as I love the top player council is very knowledgeable, they all have a lot of input to give, there is too much text here. Like, look at how much text there is. This is a ludicrous amount of text. Basically just to say, like, Resonate is still good, right? Now, I get it, but I just wish this was, like, just a little bit more concise. That's all I wish. I want, like, the cliff notes. And then if I want to, I could, like, expand into getting, like, a lot more detail. Summary, Rezo Tier 1. Yeah, I mean, basically, right? Hello, Bismuth, by the way. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Resonate Tier 1. While on the ban list hit the deck, turn 1, deck like Sun Great Predator Plant hit as well. Resonate will be able to adapt rather quickly. Buster Dragon can be a nice addition to Floodgate Tri-Brigade while also stopping Ancient Gear from going into Ancient Gear Ballista. Ancient Gear has recently had a deck. It's nice to actually talk about Ancient Gear here as well. So Resonator, but the help of Red Resonator, gaining life points, Buster Dragon stopping Ballista Link Play, and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss being able to negate Ancient Gear Fortress. The matchup is not too problematic. This is especially true since Red Dragon Archfiend destroys Ancient Gear Howitzer by card effect, rather effect after it's marked for destruction and no longer immune to card effects. Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, Resonate is best deck, Resonate is best deck, Resonate is best deck, Resonate is best deck. Predaplants. Predaplants is an interesting one because this deck got like nerfed and then like kind of buffed. It got like a buff nerf. You yap more than they write. Yeah, but it's different. People come here for the yap, right? I mean, it's one of those things as well. I'm sure that there are probably a ton of people that really love the fact that they have all of this. And again, if I really wanted to find out why like Predaplant is considered a tier 2 deck, it's great that I have this as a resource. It might just be like the presentation is a bit like all over the place. Maybe that's what I don't like about it. Tier 3, Crystal Beast got up. Crystal Beast is actually a kind of a scary deck. I played this deck for the first time in a tournament. I played against it for the first time in a tournament. And it was actually super spooky. The first game I played against it, I absolutely destroyed it. I was like, this deck seems kind of bad. And then the second game, they made like Firewall Dragon. What was the... I have to try and remember what they built. Firewall Dragon was the most annoying one for my deck specifically. They had something else next to Firewall Dragon that made it really annoying. They definitely had Firewall. It might have been Decode and Firewall? I'm trying to remember. And like Abyss Dweller. They made like this ridiculous board, and I was like, I can't play through this. I was just like, I cannot beat this. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I love we got Peaceful, Diamond, and Pearl Song in the background. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Top player cancer doesn't play Dinos. Fair. I mean, I personally think Dinos deserve to be in like this section down here. Just high potential, or at least they did like last set, but like, is what it is. First time TPC has 2 people banned from my events. What happened? I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fair as well. I wonder how the TPC is getting banned, bro. That's so weird. Geminis, again, pretty cool deck. Heroes, very cringe. If you like the hero deck, you are cringe. It's Floodgate Turbo. It's cringe. If you don't like that, you just have to live with the fact that you're cringe. Birds, this deck is still also kind of cringe. But I feel like the longer we go on, Birds feels less cringe. Salads are cool. We like salads. Salads down to tier 3 feels bad, man. But, you know, salads are salads. Exactly, Tomato. Some might have ad break, just tip. The issue is that nothing's telling me we have ads at the moment. So, they're just cheaters. Oh, there we go. Now we have an ad break. Why do we have a 30-second ad? I don't know what's going on with the ads at the moment, by the way. Our ads are set to be longer than 30 seconds, but now we have a 30-second ad. Twitch is, like, dying or something. I can't tell you what's going on there. I play heroes without floodgates, though. I am sorry, Tomato. The hero deck I don't like because this card, this card, both suck. I hate these cards. Especially since I can't play under them. This card is annoying. For some decks, this is more annoying than others. But it's like... It's a very easy card to point at and go, this card's annoying. I don't actually mind Super Poly that much. For me, it's these two. Really, it's DDG. DDG sucks so much. I hate this card so much. DLM prop don't know. I see. Maybe something to report or something. I mean, it is what it is, right? Cheat is be cheated. Then Subterra. Subterra is a deck that I think it's cringe adjacent, right? Subterra is... It's kind of spooky, it's kind of lame, but also it's probably the most like interesting control deck in the game at the moment. So like I don't hate Subterra, but I could understand other people definitely hating it, right? See the hacker I had the other day. I don't think I've ever actually encountered a hacker in Duel Links, you know. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on this is I think Resonators is still a cool deck. It's a little bit unfair, but it's still like what the deck does is fine. Like the way it does it is fine. The issue is what it does is too good. It's too good at what it does. That's the only thing wrong with Resonators. Predator Plants I think is a fun deck. I think it's cool. I like Crystal Beast, Geminis. I like Salamangreat. Not really a big fan of Heroes, Lurelus, and Subterrors. And then we got Ancient Gear, which is another cool deck. If it wasn't for the randomness of the coin flip, I would have said that Ancient Gear was one of the best decks in the format for its dangerous going second ability. While people are still figuring out the best way to run the deck, I don't think we should disregard Ancient Gear. Now, I believe that Ancient Gear is strong, but since you can't control the coin flip, it will struggle against some decks, especially Resonators. Since Resonators are a centralizing force in the current format, Ancient Gear will need to find a reliable way of dealing with it in order to become more competitive in this current meta. Ancient Gear is the new best OTK deck of the meta. The deck manages to make a solid defense turn 1 with Howlitzer and Geargigan X searching Kiteroid, as well as Sanafond, Dweller, and Howlitzer. That's actually quite a good turn 1, right? Howlitzer, Abyss Dweller, Sanafond, Kiteroid. Like, that's not gonna, like, defend through absolutely everything, but that's not bad. I love Subterra because it's finally good somehow, but I understand the hate. It's one of those things, Kurosama, hello by the way, Kurosama, where I think that as the game gets more advanced and as we move more and more into a modern like format of Yu-Gi-Oh, control gets more and more annoying because the rest of the decks have all kind of like they have this like agreement with each other that the game's gonna last between like 2 and 5 turns now, and then control decks are sat there like, what if what if we made that a bit longer? What if we played it a bit longer? What if we had like this interesting grind game and back and forth where you try and do something and invest a shit ton of resources into it and then I say no? And I think that's what people don't like about it. Subterra for me is kind of, it's hit or miss. Sometimes I don't mind it. Sometimes I think it's a little bit too strong. Sometimes it's like fine. But that's kind of it for the speed stuff. That is it for the speed. So now onto the juicy stuff. New mini box, structure decks, and World Championship qualifier campaign announced. Don't miss specific flaws. Look, I'm a grind game lover, so I don't mind it. I think that, again, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. Just because I don't like a deck, or because I, like, am indifferent towards a deck, does not mean you should like it any less, right? No matter what anyone says, if anyone says, like, you're, like, it's like, I don't like Heroes, right? I say Heroes is cringe. That doesn't mean you should stop playing Heroes. That doesn't mean you should think playing Heroes is cringe. That just means some guy on the internet thinks it's cringe. It doesn't mean anything, right? I'm a rare breed of Yu-Gi-Oh player. Fair. I mean, if you like grind, you ever heard of Rush? Rush is great for that. I mean, kind of, right? Gaia meta. But we have our update, Eternal Galaxy Road. So this is the working title. I assume Eternal Galaxy Road is probably what this box is going to be called when it does come over. This is like the translation, but overall, we're getting some new cool cards. We're getting the Eternal Galactica Oblivion, we're getting the Galactiara Fuse Eve, and we're getting the Space Fusion Extra Plasma, which are really, really cool. But it is objectively cringe, Duel Links Heroes. Now, I might be able to agree with you, but that doesn't mean it has to be true for everyone, right? Wait, Tomatosaurus is a person? I thought he was a tomato. My world has been blown. True. Real and true. And you know me, Royal Rebels hardcore. I mean, we're getting new Royals, like, eventually, right? In fact, we have to get them sooner rather than later, especially the, like, the rest of the 7 stuff. But new cards, PogChamp. So we got these 3. These are all cards we predicted, so there's nothing, like, surprising here. I wasn't 100% if we would get Fuse Eve, but we're getting Fuse Eve, which is fantastic. We also got some other cards announced. and we did get Gigantomachia, we did get the Apocalypse, and we did get Theogonia, which does also, you know, soft confirm that we're getting Trisaur and the Dark Prophet, which are also really cool cards. Dark Galaxy is looking to be very powerful and very scary. It's going to depend, right? Because the Dark Galaxy skill, I think, is good. But the Dark Galaxy skill on its own does, like, none of the heavy lifting. It's like in Speed, where you get some decks that just don't really have a skill. And then you kind of just have to let the deck speak for itself. I'm thinking stuff like Strikers. I'm thinking things like Unchained, right? Where they don't really have a skill. Like, they do have skills, but they're not, like, real skills. They're, like, generic skills. But this deck does kind of have a real skill, and it will help, but it feels like the skill is like, it's greasing the wheels. It's not doing everything for you. Ancient tomato that ate tomatoes. Now, I don't actually like eating tomatoes, to be honest. Most likely, it is a dinosaur that evolved into a tomato eater. Again, we don't eat tomatoes, so we got. The only time I will ever eat tomatoes is when they are like in something, right? So like I'll eat like diced tomatoes in like a burger, or I'll eat diced tomatoes in like a salad, or, you know, I'll have tomatoes in something. Like, again, if it's like diced. I don't like slices of tomatoes, personally. Not really a big fan. And then we have the last cards that were kind of revealed as like a 3. These are a bit more interesting. So we kind of knew we were going to get Scout, and we kind of knew we were going to get Demolisher. So this isn't like anything too surprising. What is a little bit surprising is that we're getting the, was he Double Sword Dragon, I think his name is? I think we have him here. So this is Double Twin Dragon. So, this guy, I don't really want to move the chat. We'll just leave it up. You can't see like the little bit of the text, that's fine. So, requirement, shuffle 3 monsters from your go into the deck. Any monsters. So, okay. This turn, this face-up card can be treated as 2 tributes to the tribute summon of a level 7 dragon-type monster in attack position. This turn, you can only attack with high dragons and dragons. So you can use this to shuffle back your high dragons, because it's any monsters. You have to just shuffle back dragons, which is quite nice. You're going to primarily play this in dragon-focused decks. But does this matter too much? So the main benefit of this is going to be the best way to get a 3rd dragon boss on the field if you want to do that. Because I would say that Star Replacer is probably better than this a lot of the time. But this does give you a bit of recycling. And like we say, this is the best way to get like the 3rd boss monster onto the field without using something like 7 Shift. So like, Double Twin's pretty cool. Reasonably cool. And what about ketchup? I actually love ketchup. I love tomato flavored things. I just don't like the texture of tomatoes. That's why I'll have it like diced. Demolisher got an Overrush rare and Apocalypse didn't. Konami, I swear, Double Twin is pretty good though. Yeah, Double Twin's cool. I just don't know if we're gonna fit it in the deck, right? It's like, let's say you were just to play this in the current Dragon Fusion deck. Like, what do you take out for this? Like, it's not easy to, like, just squeeze it in. And it's not necessarily doing something that the deck doesn't already do. So, like, it's a little bit awkward. It's definitely a little bit awkward. But there was one other thing we did get, which was these. So we got some rarity confirmations, and these are going to be the 4 URs from the box. One of which being the Sevens Road Ultima Witch, which is very, very exciting. And then arguably either the most or least exciting part of this, depending on who you talk to, XQT Riding. So Riding is a card that we did predict could come out. And it's an interesting trap. It doesn't just read, blow up your opponent's board, you win the game, right? XQT Riding, in fact, we should probably bring it up, because we don't have, like, we don't have Riding up at the moment. So, oh, Caps Lock is apparently on. Let's grab up Riding. So XQT Riding. When your opponent normal or special summons an effect monster face-ups, has to be an effect monster, special summon 1 monster with an attack less than or equal to that monster from your graveyard to your field in face-up attack position. So we get to special summon something weaker than what our opponent summons. So ideally, we wait until our opponent puts something massive on the board, then we can bring back something a little bit weaker than massive. And then we can reduce the attack of their monsters. The ideal is that we reduce them enough that our guy gets to survive the turn and we're feeling hunky-dory, right? But this card is really interesting because it does so much, right? It can stop your opponent from just killing you. Even if you bring back a monster and the monster dies, you've still effectively reduced your opponent's total damage they're dealing by 36, which is a lot. as well as there being some like really weird stuff you can do with this. So for example, if we have Master of the Seven's Road in the graveyard, that is a card that gains a crap ton of attack even during your opponent's turn because it's got a continuous effect. So we could use Riding to bring that back as long as your opponent summons something that's 3,000 or more attack, right? So let's say your opponent summons out a fusion monster that's 3,000 attack. We activate Riding. We bring back our Master of the Seven's Road. Master of the Seven's Road attack now goes up a shit ton because we've got a graveyard full of monsters. And our opponent loses 1,800 attack. So like there is some cool stuff you can do with this. As well as this will change the delay meta, right? So right now, if you summon a monster and there's a delay, you go, right, well, my opponent either has like Tortoise of Greed or they've got Trap Hole. So you now know, I now need to play around Trap Hole, I need to force out the Trap Hole, I need to work around Trap Hole. Now, when you summon a monster, they could have Executee Riding. So the only way to test for this is going to be like normal monster versus effect monster. Whereas like with Trap Hole, it's like has 1,000 or more attack versus less than 1,000 attack. But that could drastically change things. Because if you were to play Trap Hole alongside this, for example, your opponent's now going to have to like, wait, have they got this one or this one? I need to actually consider this, right? And play around them. Why didn't they give us Over Rush Rare Executee Riding? Yeah, why not? Why not, Konami? It's disgusting. Where's our... Everything else in the UR slot is Over Rush Rare. Come on, give us the Over Rush Rare trap card. Also, there's a 4th Earth Dragon leaked. Where was this leaked? Is this leaked somewhere that I can see? I'm looking. It's on DLM. Okay, let's have a look. Is it just in here? I'm not seeing anything new. Unless it's in a different section. I'm not seeing anything there. Schedule maintenance, maybe? I might be blind. There is a chance that I am blind. But it's not in the schedule maintenance. It's not on Wave Scramble. It's the longest with it. That's fine, Quantum. We all do that. But obviously we're going to have the Overrush Rare Demolisher, we're going to have the Scout, and we're going to have the Double Twin Dragon, which is like... They're going to be cool, right? They're all going to be cool. But Executee Riding, this could drastically change how we play. Now, that being said, we still don't know what restrictions are going to be on this card. This could be Limit 1. It would be very weird, but also very predictable that this would be Limit 1. I'm actually leaning towards this being a Limit 3 card. The issue with it being Limit 3 is it would mean that almost every good deck wouldn't be able to play it. So, I thought Dragonic Scout was missing because he's a low level, but he looked like the boss. Yes, that's understandable. That's understandable. But Riding, if this is Limit 1, you just most of the time probably aren't playing it. Or if you are, you're now just basically telling people, please don't play Negate Attack. If this is Limit 3, again, most decks aren't going to be able to fit this in because they want their Limit 3. Most good decks have a Limit 3. I expect the new decks to all have a really strong Limit 3 they're going to be kind of stuck to. Then that leaves like Limit 2. Limit 2 is a bit of a weird spot for this to be, but I could see it. Realistically, I don't think this is going to be unlim. I think that's my takeaway. I doubt this is going to be completely unlim. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it will be unlim. Now, Limit 3 on Riding is like releasing a trap without actually releasing it. I mean, putting it at Limit 1 feels like kind of the same thing, right? It's not exactly ideal. But yeah, so basically we've got all of these lovely reveals, which is now compact here. So we've already made like a video. We've kind of made 2 videos going over these because we did one in the prediction where we went over all these cards. Then we did one about the reveals where we went over all of these cards. So we've kind of gone over all these cards already, but I guess we'll briefly touch on them, right? So Oblivion, fantastic. makes itself huge, can ram into your opponent, great, great, great. It can get its attack really, really high. Now, I will say in OCG, you could get this really high, but in Duel Links, the game is a bit quicker, right? We have less life points. The game isn't necessarily going to be as grindy as in OCG, and we have 10 less cards in deck, so this guy might not be able to get as big. I'm expecting him to be like probably about 5k on average, which is, you know, it was more like 7k in OCG, so like, yeah. The other issue is, him on his own is fine, but you need like TSA to like really kill someone with this on its own. The other card that you would normally use this is Riker, who is this one. So Riker is the other card we haven't got confirmed yet, but this card is really, really good because this is basically like Pierce on legs. So then you just give it Pierce, right? So if we get this, it becomes a lot better. But then again, it's going to depend on the kind of meta we're in, because if everyone's just spamming out fusion boss monsters in attack position, having piercing doesn't mean anything, right? So we'll have to wait and actually see. We'll have to wait and see. I could see limit 2. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I think, right? Limit 2 would be fine for most decks. It would be the first time since the game came out that a box UR is limit 2 on release. I guess? I'm trying to think, right? Because we had... What's his name? We had a bunch of limit 3s on the game's launch. We had, what, Yami Ruler, we had Dragius. You're not from a box, you're not a UR, you're not a UR. Mirror Innovator was limit 3 on release, right? So, I guess they're, like, it's not like it's crazy that they would do it on release. I'm sure Mirror Innovator must have been limit 3 on release, I'm sure it was, right? I'm now second guessing myself. But yeah, for the majority, they don't come out limit 3, right? Box URs. The shed limit thing being a real pain in the butt in Rush. It's one of those... I personally would like to see both limits, right? I want to see limit 3 on release as usual, but limit 2 never. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yes. It would be weird. It would be setting a precedent. It is thus far unprecedented. Our great savior, Eternal Galactic Oblivion. Boy, the shed... Yeah, I would like there to be both, right? I would like to see things choice restricted as well as just restricted. So then you can better tailor the ban list how you want it, right? So you could put things on both the lists if you wanted to be like very harsh to a card as well. Is that Cyclone Valley in the chat? Hello, my friend. I thought the structure was being released before the box, but I guess not. No. It's all coming out together, Ursus. Also, hello, Ursus. No meet and greet was limit 2. I mean, that wasn't a UR though, right? There we go, it's not UR. Tomato, we doing watch along today? I don't know. I will have to post later on if we are. I want to do the watch along. The issue is, like I said, I'm very busy tomorrow, and I'm leaving this city for 2 days on Friday. Friday, Saturday, we're not going to be here. So I need to make sure I get absolutely everything done as quickly as possible so that I can get on with that stuff. And also having to move the Thursday stream to Friday, which means our Friday is going to be really manic because we also ideally want to get a video out on Friday. So we'll have to see how that actually goes. It's going to be a bit nutty. We'll have to see how things are looking later on, but I will post in the Discord if we are doing it. But yeah, Eternal Galactic Oblivion, great, fantastic card. Then we have Extra Plasma, another great, fantastic card. Popping your opponent's back row. We already know how strong this is, right? We've got what? Heroes do it with Burst Wingman. We've got Ashura Star does it. There's one more, right? Is there one more fusion monster that pops back row in the game right now? I'm drawing a blank. Either way, really, really good. And because of how Extraplora works, effectively, this is about the same investment, typically, as making a Burst Wingman, right? We get our Extraplora, so we go summon, tribute for Extraplora. Extraplora gives us a +2, so now we're only investing 1 card. And then we use the fusion, we use the card we got back with Extraplora, that's a fusion. So it's a 3-card investment, the same as a Burst Wingman. So Extra Plasma is pretty good. It's basically 100 attack less, but it's a Burst Wingman without the ability to like stack the boost if you got at 2, for example, right? How is Willy Wonderland Graveyard Grudge still limit 1? We will never know. We may never know the answer to this question. I assume there is a reason. They're just not telling us. Like, there's going to be something busted you can do that only, like, the sickest of cooks have come up with. I gotta go have a good one tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by, Victor. Conquer of Champions. Thank you, Quantum. Yeah, that was the other one I was thinking of. The Gaia Fusion, Assura Star Burst, Wingman. Is that you in a new coat of paint? I mean, basically, it's Boat Wingman. Everyone's favorite Boat Wingman. Then we have Galactica Fuse Eve. Galactica Fuse Eve is fantastic. This card is basically you make it quite easily. Any light attribute Galaxy type monster, Galactica Eve, who's just a level 1 monster. Place fusion from your graveyard, top up your deck. You can either put it at the bottom if you're just desperate to draw into something. So, you know, I need a legend trap to survive. Let's go for the YOLO draw sort of thing. Or you put it to the top of your deck, you draw, you guarantee you have the fusion. And then you can special summon a Galaxy type normal monster. So one thing you can do is summon out Galactica Fuse Eve, put fusion on top of your deck, draw the fusion into your hand, use the effect to bring back Galactica Oblivion, and then we have almost everything we need just from that to get into the Eternal Galactica Oblivion. We just need one more monster, which should be quite easy to do, right? I didn't play Rush Duel 1 years. Can you tell me which deck are in meta right now? Yes. I mean, do I have... I wonder if I have... Or if I can easily do this. If we do this. We add this. And then we do... Here we go. This is my current tier list. We'll just chuck this up. So this is our current tier list. This is sort of... Again, if you're playing ladder, this is going to be not necessarily super accurate because we don't have Psychic and we don't have Gaia on here at the moment because they are banned in tournaments. But this is kind of how things are at the moment. But as we say, in the next couple of days, this is going to get massively shaken up. So take this with a pinch of salt. This is like for right now in tournaments. And this is going to drastically change, right? No love for the Fiends whatsoever, Sag. Yeah, unfortunately. Wait, doesn't the Light Galaxy skill draw? The Light Galaxy skill lets you send cards to draw, so you filter. I mean, we can go and grab it quick, right? Leaks and updates. It's one of these two. Let's have a look. Let's go digging. Oh, perfect. Perfect. First try. So yeah, it's... Oh, we're going to have to really... finagle this. Let's get rid of this. The Udius one is not easy to see because it's right over here. What I could do is like this. That hasn't made it much easier. We don't really have a good screen for this, but it's send up to 2 fusion and or level 7 light monsters from your hand to the graveyard, then draw 1 card for each card sent. Then if you sent Galactica Oblivion twice per duel, you can add extra Flora Fusion or Secret Order from outside of your deck to your hand. So you can draw the fusion you put on top? Yes. Yes, you can. But if you put it on top, you're going to draw it anyway from Galactica Fuse's effect, because its effect immediately lets you draw a card. Thank you, Tomo. No problem, Oni-sama. Hello, OG Toti. Welcome, welcome on in. And is that X charged in the chat as well? Hello, hello. Surely love for Jointech next box. I would love to. The issue is, Jointech has always been a weird deck where Jointech has basically never been meta in OCG. It's a little bit all over the place. It's never really had a coherent strategy. But we have now got Go Rush Fusions, which means we could get the Jointech Fusions. Now, the issue with the Jointech Fusions is there is a little card written on the Jointech Fusions. Let's see if we can find it quick. Is it you who says it? No. Is it you? No. Is it you? Yeah, this card. This is the problem. So, basically, as a general rule, in Duel Links, they don't release cards that are mentioned on cards because they don't want to give you a card that doesn't work, right? This card says add Power Bond from your graveyard to your hand. So that would mean we'd need Power Bond. And Power Bond is kind of scary because it's not just Join Tech that can use Power Bond. There's some other decks that can use Power Bond as well. How's it going, my Dino Bro? We are doing well, Charged. We have just been going over the Rush stuff because obviously we're big into Rush here. We're going over the brand new Rush stuff. Is that Atlas in the chat as well? So which of these are tier 0? I'm ready. Just give us Broken Skill. Join Tech are basically the roids of Rush. I mean, basically, right? But rather than getting like sidetracked, we don't want to get too sidetracked. So my gut feeling, talking about like what's going to be really good here, is I think Light Galaxy is going to be decent. I think it's hard to tell if they're going to be like crazy good, but it seems hard to believe they won't be decent, right? We have filtering from the skill, which is really strong, right? Being able to send 2 cards and then draw 2 is really good. I mean, Dark Galaxy get the same, like, effectively part, which is effectively like playing Trade-In, right? It's like we have Trade-In, or for Udius or Light Galaxy, it's a bit more like Ship of 7 Treasures that can also discard Fusion, which is really good. So, like, that in itself is already fantastic. Eternal Galactic Oblivion is great. We have ways to pop back row with extra plasma. We have Galactiara Fuse Eve, which is, again, just a really good consistency tool. Like, these are just fantastic cards, right? Extra Plora is also really good. Galacticara Eve is, like, fine. Like, this is basically, again, just more filtering. It's nothing, like, too crazy. But the Light Galaxy stuff all looks... It looks strong. It looks very strong. When you get to the Dark Galaxy stuff, it gets... The Dark Galaxy stuff is more obviously strong, right? If we look at, for example, Apocalypse is really good, right? Gains 1,000 attack, lets you get back Dark Hole from the graveyard. Now, even if that's just Dark Hole device, that's still really good. And it's immune to being destroyed by Dark Hole and Dark Hole device. So you just summon it, get back your Dark Hole, or your Dark Hole device, activate it, wipe everything, attack your opponent directly for 35. Really strong. Gigantomachia is really hard to summon. Now, eventually, we will probably get Void Dust Fusion. There is a slim chance we get it in this box, but realistically, that's like a UR-worthy card, so I don't know why that wouldn't have already been, like, announced and be everywhere. But just getting this guy out is a pain. So, like, unless you're going to be playing Polymerization to try and get this out, you're just not realistically summoning this. But this would be a card that you would have, because you're going to be playing Requiem anyway, because you want Requiem for the skill. And you're going to be playing Cryosaur because you want Cryosaur for its fusions, and because Cryosaur is also just a really good card. So, like, you would have both of these monsters in your deck anyway, and then if you happen to get this out, you'd be like, oh, neat. But this card's generally quite good. Like, its cost kind of sucks, but, like, the rest of its effect is really good. And there is an ad break. So we're gonna pause. We're gonna do a little pause. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait until the ad is finished, because people get very upset if we keep going. Selection Box Lock is the archetypical fusion spell. Or could you imagine if they put, like, Seven's Wonder Fusion and Void Dust in there? That would be so annoying. That would actually be so annoying. I will find you in Ranked. Dark Galaxy looks crazy. When the box will come out on the 9th. Poly seems good in Light Galaxy as well. It's one of those weird... Poly is obviously good. It's obviously really good, because you can, like, do a lot with Poly. The issue is it's not Pot of Greed, right? So when you think about it, Pot of Greed is a +1. If you use Poly, depending on how you use it, it could be way better than a +1, right? If you're going into Gigantomachia, you're now investing 3 cards to summon it. Whereas to summon it normally, it's a, what, 5? No, it'd be a 7 card investment to get out. So, like, that's a +4 if you squint, right? So, like, Poly is good. It can be fantastic, but it kind of depends on when you use it. Ad breaks don't affect me. Mwahaha. Well, good for you, Kuro-sama. Most likely true, but I at least have to try. But yeah, Gigantomachia, send a card from my hand to the graveyard, destroy spell trap. Pretty good. This turn, gain 500 attack and can attack twice attacking with 39 is pretty good. So again, just another good card. It's just hard to get out. Then there's Theogonia. Theogonia is fantastic, and it's not even like a real boss. He's kind of like a support boss. So you make him using Cryosaur and Dark Prophet, bearing in mind that Dark Prophet just gets you back the fusion for free, so all you need to do is get out a Cryosaur, and then this just does everything else. During your main phase, this card was special summoned a level 8 Galaxy monster from your graveyard, so that's going to be the Cryosaur. And then the monster special summoned by this effect cannot be destroyed by card effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. Now, very importantly, this is a lingering protection effect, which means it works until the end of your opponent's turn, so they can't Darkhold Device this, or, for example, they won't be able to use Dragonic Demolisher to pop it. Like, it's very good protection. So basically, a lot of the time, you'll go into Cryosaur, then fuse it off into Theogonia, bring back Cryosaur, and then sometimes you'll even do that again. You'll just summon out another Prophet, make another Theogonia, and then use the second Theogonia to bring back the Cryosaur, and then use Cryosaur's effect. And Cryosaur on its own is already a crazy card, right? If your opponent has 2 or more monsters on their field, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. If a Dark Attribute Galaxy type monster is among the cards sent, this card can attack up to that many times this turn. So, if we send 3 Dark Galaxy monsters, we get to attack 3 times. And that's not 3 times on monsters, that's 3 times, which is so powerful. Then, if the card sent are 3 Dark Attribute Galaxy type monsters with the same level, destroy all face at level 8 or lower monsters, that doesn't really matter. That will come up like one every like 30, 40 games. But when it does, it'll be really funny. But like what you can do, for example, is get out a Cryosaur. Then we could summon out the Dark Prophet, use its effect to get back Fusion, make a Theogonia. Then use Theogonia to bring back Cryosaur, summon Dark Prophet again, so that's just 2 Dark Prophets is all we need effectively. Use the effect again, get back Fusion, fuse it into another Theogonia. Theogonia summons back Cryosaur. Then we can use Cryosaur's effect to mill 3. If we get 3 monsters, we can now attack every monster our opponent has out of the way, and then double attack with double Theogonia for 6,000 damage. Which is kind of nutty, right? Now, that does require a lot of moving pieces, right? Dark Prophet is going to need the graveyard set up. We already need to have Fusion in the graveyard. We need 2 Dark Prophet in hand. We do need a way to summon the Cryosaur. But it's not an unfeasible board state, right? Now, you're not going to do this like turn 1 or turn 2, but like turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, that's a very feasible combo. Can Demolisher pop it? Demolisher can. Destroys a level face-up 8 or lower monster on your opponent's field, but they can't pop it with Theogonia. Theogonia is level 9, but Cryosaur's only level 8, right? Smash. Okay. When do you expect the Fiend support to come to the game? It's really hard to tell. If you had asked me, like, 2 months ago, if I thought that the Go Rush Fusion stuff was coming, I would have said no. So it really does feel like they are hyper-accelerating. They're trying to get everything released very, very quickly for something. What this could actually mean, right? Are you ready? Ready? Tinfoil hats on. Tinfoil hats on, right? We have a new world time coming up, right? Usually it's like September or November is when a new world would drop. We are out of worlds, right? So what they could do is they could do Chronicle World. That's one thing. That's like... It's not super easy because there isn't a lot of Chronicle stuff going on right now. You'd have to basically be stuff from the future. Like, we haven't got the Albaz short out yet or whatever, right? And then, like, there'll be, like, a Melfi one, the Zeus stuff, the 6 Samurai, etc., etc. But what they could do, and this wasn't my original idea. Someone else said this, like, a long time ago. But if they did Go Rush Time Skip, it wouldn't necessarily be a new world, right? You wouldn't have to have it as its own world. But you could do... like skins for all the Go Rush characters, like they have for Soulburner and Flame, where you have the aged up version of the characters. Now the reason I bring this up is because the time skip was right after we got fusions brought in. If I remember correctly, it was basically right as Phaser gets introduced. I'm actually trying to remember now if that is actually accurate or not. Was it? I'm pretty sure it was Phaser. Was it Phaser? Yes. Yes, it was Phaser. Right as Phaser comes out, that's when the time skip happened. I'm sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure that's when it happened. But that was basically right after the fusions got introduced. So maybe we're going to be doing time skip as instead of a new world. And we'll get like aged up versions of all the characters. Thank God riding is going to be unlimited, right, guys? I mean, it could be, right? Are we leaning more towards Light or Dark Galaxy based on these cards? So, my gut is telling me they're both going to be really good. If you were to ask me which one I think is definitely going to be better, based on just these cards and the skills, I would say Light Galaxy right now is going to be better at consistently just making a board and doing stuff. I would say Dark Galaxy is going to be better at actually killing your opponent. So it's hard to know, really. How New World and Rush Go is the last anime series. So you have to remember that they don't have to do one based on different anime series. For example, we have one based on the Bonds Beyond... Not Bonds Beyond Time. What's the other movie called? Dark Side of Dimensions. We have the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. So that's already set a precedent that it doesn't have to be its own separate thing. Not to mention, it wouldn't have to be a world, right? You could just do like a big update. Like, you could treat it like it's a new world, where, like, we get aged up Yuhi, aged up Yuamu, right? And they just get basically a skin that gives you a bunch of new gems, the same as, like, Soulburner, right? Mono and I were talking about dragons earlier. Reckon they'll only be really good if they get the other Dragonic spell. The issue with the Dragonic spell, if we go and get it up quick. The issue is, are we talking about progress or are we talking about force? Because that's not anything. The issue with Dragonic Force is this card is really good for all dragons, right? This is a generic card. This last bit of text is basically for Dragonic only. But if we just ignore that bit of text, shuffle 3 dragon-type monsters from your graveyard into the deck. This turn, one face-up monster on your field gains 900 attack, and your opponent can activate trap cards when it declares an attack. That's really good, right? Dragon Fusion. Now, to be fair, this could be used in anything that's playing a dragon engine, right? Because it's just any face-up monster on your field. Doesn't have to be a dragon. You just have to shuffle 3 dragons from your graveyard back into the deck. So if you're playing a sizable dragon engine in any deck, this becomes really good in anything, which is, like, kinda scary. Haha, my Dragia Star is now an Ancient Gear Golem. Basically, right? I mean, it's a double attacking Ancient Gear Golem, which is horrifying. But then we have Ultimate Witch. Ultimate Witch is cool. We could basically use this to recycle a spell card. So, you know, get your Legend spell back. If you're playing Polymerization, you could do, like, a big poly play. You could use this just to get back Fusion. You could use this to get back, Backrow Hate, if your opponent's got a lot of Backrow Hate you don't want to deal with. You could use this to get back just Pot of Greed and just get free plus. There's a lot of stuff you can do with Ultimate Witch. It's not like anything too insane, right? It's just got 3300 attack. It doesn't have piercing. It doesn't change the battle position of anything. It doesn't double attack. It doesn't do anything like crazy. But like, it's fine, right? Like, this is an okay card. But this is never going to be like your finisher. This is going to be like a combo piece. Not if we limit 3 it. I mean, but then you just play like one less Dragius, right? Now, when you find out the equip used in the duel where Ultimate is played in animes is anime exclusive, yeah. For now at least. So then we have Demolisher. Demolisher is cool. If the only monsters in your graveyard are high dragons and or dragons, send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard. So that sounds like it's a heavy cost, but the effect is quite good, right? We get to destroy a level 8 or lower monster in your opponent's field, and then we get a Dragonic Slayer back. So effectively, we -1 our opponent, and then we +1 ourselves. So we break even, but we still -1 our opponent. So if this effect works, it's really, really good. 0 defense is a little bit scary, though. Then we have Dragonic Scout. If the only monsters in your graveyard are high dragons and or dragons, then the top 3 cards you deck to the graveyard. Milling is always really important. Increase this card's level by 4 until the end of this turn, and then you can add a level 7 Earth Attribute Dragon monster from your graveyard to your hand. So that could be Demolisher, or that could be Slayer. And then Double Twin Dragon. This is our Shuffler, so we've got a Miller and a Shuffler, which is always quite nice. And then we basically get to use this to get out our monsters a little bit easier, because we are going to be adding, Slayer back to our hand a lot. We're going to have Demolisher. We're going to have a lot of level 7s. So we're going to need to get them out a bit easier, and Double Twin Dragon is going to be the way to do that. All things are looking like this box is going to be kind of spicy. Now, obviously, Dragonic looks like the weakest. There isn't really any way around that. Realistically, we're going to be seeing a lot of big fusion monsters, and most of these are going to be level 9s, so they're not going to be affected by Demolisher, which is a little bit sad. Is that Sakadetsu in the chat? Hello, hello, Sakadetsu. I'm glad we are getting a Dragonic Slayer archetype. I always thought Dragonic Slayer was such a cool monster. I like the monster. I like the concept of the card, Dragonic Slayer. I didn't really like the... What was it? Dragonic... What was the deck? Not Dragonic Pressure. Resonance. I never really liked the Resonance deck specifically. I was never a big fan. But that's kind of it for them. Then, if we come down, we get the Structure deck. And in here, we know that we're getting Charm Witch. Charm Witch, in a lot of ways, is better than Ultima Witch, right? Charm Witch does sort of have the capability to end games, because it actually does change battle positions and does get piercing, which is, like, really good. So it's like... It's an interesting that you, like, make this and then get rid of it. Warlock is... I really don't know how to think about Warlock. It's setting a trap from your hand to the graveyard. We're not really going to have many traps, and we're not really going to discard them. It's a level 5. Its effect is good, but like its cost and its levels suck, and its stats kind of suck as well. Just draw TSA Kappa the deck. Real. Hello, Dr. Alex. Welcome, welcome. Seven's Road Mirror, if we get Enchanter, will be very annoying. Yes. 0 gem player, require your knowledge on stuff, what we get. As a 0 gemmer, none of this is going to interest you, right? So you're going to be all about this. You're only going to get 1 copy of this as well. But you are going to get the Master of the Seven's Road, who's down here. So, like, it's probably just going to be, like, build a spellcaster good stuff pile and kind of hope. I think Dragonic Slayer is the worst deck of the box. Yeah, I think that goes without saying, Louise. We can play Enchanter in anything just to counter them, to be honest. Would be good in Colosseum where we can side. Side decking is obviously really cool. It's a little bit annoying, to be honest. It feels a little bit like playing a warrior deck in any meta that has Metarium. Because you're always sat there like, could you just not have a Sure Star? And so just playing a warrior deck means my chances of just randomly losing has just shot up by like 40%, right? So it's just like, in the same way, if we do get Enchanter and people do start playing it just like as a one-of like tech or whatever, or like, I don't know, two-of if you've got room for it, if your deck can play it, then it's just like, anytime you play Spellcasters, it's going to be like, please just don't have that card and mess up my day. Hope you're up for another season of Insects. I mean, eventually. Get my Dark Spellcasters. Look at Charmer. I can't help. My mind goes Neko-Neko-Ni. I mean, that's fair. I mean, if they don't reprint Arm, they can't summon Master. Oh, SRM. Yeah, but they do... So, people have had a couple of different ways to get it, right? There have been... Even recently, there was... If we go over to... Let's take a look at the tickets we currently have. So there's this one. Is this an anything? Or is this like very specific? No, this is very specific. Was it this one? Nope. One of these. Is it this one? Bam, there it is. So yeah, okay. There's one way to just get a Seven's Road. So, you know, if you need it, he's right there. He's right there. I think there was a boss monster campaign a while ago where you could also take a Seven's Road. So, like, depending on what you've been using your tickets on, like, there have been ways to get it, right? Show us the free gift. Dream ticket you are. I mean, yeah, that assures these. Just from Dream tickets, I got Seven's Road and I'm ready. Real. That's right. Don't worry about Manicist Kurosama. He is very dry. He's a very dry man. He should be like Tell, how I tell, and be wet. But I'm excited. I am very excited for these cards. I think realistically, I don't know what I'm most excited for. I actually think I'm most excited for Light Galaxy, if I'm honest. I think Eternal Galactic Oblivion is just such a cool boss. And you can do so much with it. I mean, right, we'll talk a little bit about some cards that we could be getting. So we already talked about Double Twin, which you know we're getting. Execute Your Riding. So Transam Rika. If we get this card, bearing in mind this card's name will be changed. It's going to be like Transam Leica or something, right? This card is good. Now, its cost is bad. We don't like discarding a card from our hand. But being able to get Piercing is really good. And if we have Transam Rhinak on the field, we can change the back position of a face-up monster in your opponent's field. Generally good, because this also means if your opponent has a monster that has low defense, change tank to defense, then attack over it with Eternal, bam, kill, right? The main reason we want this is just because it's Piercing on legs. We don't have to then waste a spell trap slot in our deck on Meteor Charge. But if we get this card, fantastic, right? Then we got Jirai. Jirai is a card that could come out. If we have a face-up monster with 1600 or more attack on your field, send the top card of it to the graveyard. One level 4 light attribute Galaxy monster on your field can make up to 2 attacks on monsters. This isn't like, there's no reason for this to come out. But it's going to have to come out at some point, right? This is just like Rhinak support. I'm like, yeah, you could just bring this out. Why not? Then Galactica Deja Vu is also a bit of a weird card. If your opponent's life points are 4,000 or higher, send this face-up card from your field to the graveyard, send the top card of it to the graveyard. Then if you send level 4 or lower light attribute Galaxy-type normal monster from your graveyard with this effect, you can special summon that monster face-up to your field. So the best you're going to be able to get off this is Rhinak. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of the special summon monster. So this is a burn card, so, yeah. Maybe they won't give it to us, but it's only if your opponent's 4,000 or higher, so maybe... This isn't a very good card, but they have to fill the box with something, right? They have to fill the box with something in NNR rarity, right? I'm actually most excited for Dark Galaxy. I feel like Light Galaxy are going to be very aggro, and Dark Galaxy will have more options. Yes, they're both going to be very... I think they're both going to be very aggressive. They're both going to, like, combo off, turbo out a bunch of fusion monsters, and just try and kill your opponent really quickly. That's kind of what they're both going to do. Equally between Dark Galaxy and Light Galaxy, Deja Vu proceeds to sing a song. Spellcasters feel like they just do one thing. We're going to need the cats to make it competitive. Yes, I agree. The last card we'll talk about for monsters for Light Galaxy, Transamu Rhinak Watuzen, or I guess Transam Rhinak Watuzen. So this card did see play in the Light Galaxy deck, but this also saw play alongside Lightwave Dragon that reduces your opponent's monster's attack. So I don't think we're necessarily going to get this card, but this card is a card that historically did see play in this deck. If you have another face-up light attribute monster with 1400 less attack on your field, destroy one face-up monster with 1500 less attack on your opponent's field. So again, if you can pop a boss monster with this, that's really good, but we have to have a way to reduce their attack, right? Then we could get the Galactica Ada Gatling. There aren't that many equips we could get, but like this was just, again, if we just need like a low rarity card, this card's not too bad, right? Equip it to a face-up Galaxy-type monster on your field. It gains 200 attack and defense and cannot be destroyed by trap cards. Nothing crazy about it. It's just fine. Then we'll go into Dark Galaxy. I think Kyrie this is the one card we don't have already that did see a lot of play in the Dark Galaxy Fusion deck. So this card's really good. Send a face-up level 7 or lower Galaxy-type monster from your field to the graveyard to add Requiem or Cryosaur from your graveyard to your hand. So it doesn't sound that good. But this card was used occasionally to like go into enabling your plays. And worst case scenario, you just kind of use it as tribute fodder and it wasn't the end of the world. The one negative to this card, like coming in Duel Links, I suppose, is in the OCG, you would oftentimes not have enough really good cards to go up to 40, right? So you'd put in cards like Kyrie to kind of fill the gap. But we won't necessarily need that in Duel Links because we only have 30 card decks, right? This with Poly feels good. It's okay, but you have to remember you have to send a level 7 or lower Galaxy monster from your field to the graveyard. So now obviously you're not going to be sending a level 7, right? That's not happening. But you do have to give up a monster. So the rest of this effect is also, it's nice, but it's like nothing like too crazy. I think Kyrie is generally quite good. I think this card would see play if it came out, but we haven't heard it confirmed yet, right? So we still don't really know. Then there's just some other Galaxy stuff that they could give us at some point. Hecaton Chair is just bad. This has to come out somewhere. Just stick it in the box as like an R, right? This card's just bad. We don't really need to read it. It's a bad card. Transy, another bad card. This card is okay against exactly Light Galaxy. This could come out as like an N. Right? Like, eh. What chaff do you think we'll get? Like some water stuff or plant stuff, like N art-worthy stuff. I think they'll try and keep it on theme with a lot of the stuff that we're getting. So I think they'll try and give us like bad Light Galaxy, Dark Galaxy, Dragon, Spellcaster stuff. Is kind of what I'm feeling. Hex Chair has to be in the box. I mean, it's got to come out somewhere, right? Hoplites. This is another 1500 attacker. It's got 1000 defense, which is quite nice. This could come out. Void Velg Golin Bursty. Equip this card to a face-up Dark Attribute Galaxy-type monster. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by spell card effects. So once again, this would protect any of your monsters from Dark Hole or Dark Hole Device. And gains 800 attack only during your turn. So this could come out as well, I think. Please no Gullen Burst. The thing is, I don't think Gullen Bursty would see a ton of play. I think it's too awkward. You've got to draw this after you've already got a monster you want to be keeping on the field. It's... eh. Do you think they'll just throw a fusion in the box to give them support? I mean, they could do, right? They definitely could do. Like a Trains fusions. I don't think they'll give... I really don't think we're going to get plant stuff in the box, to be honest. I think that's just so far off of their radar. So this is the last card I want to talk about. So this is Trans-Samu Road Rhinak, right? Now, if we go back to the leaks, this box is called Eternal Galaxy Road, right? This is a galaxy road. This is the fusion of a galaxy monster and Seven's Road. Like, in my mind, this box, like a box called this, should just have this in it. But it's not, right? This is just really weird. I don't know where else, like, if we're talking about the anime, when this would technically come out before, like, story-wise, before Eternal Galactic Oblivion, before Gigantomachia. Like, I refuse to believe it's not a UI. Yeah, we're not getting this, right? At least we're not getting this in the box as a UR, right? Just an example, it's a big fusion box, so we're thinking about decks that have fusions. They can just throw a card and a 2 in the box. Well, I don't think, though, that they would want to add those in as those lower rarities. I could see them being SRs. I don't think they're going to throw in those type of boss monsters as NRs, personally. But this card's neat. There's nothing really super in-depth to say about it. Like, this could be, like, a really funny, like, bundle. They could just put this as, like, a bundle. I don't know why they would, because it's not very good. But, like, they could. So beyond that, I guess we'll talk a little bit about the meta. We'll just briefly cover this. We'll just touch on this. So we did have another tournament yesterday, the RDR Weekly, where we did see Red Boot win again. We got Chemicalized, got second, Santa Mil Dark Galaxy. So we are seeing the spreadsheet getting updated quite a bit. And this is probably going to be the last event. Or there might be one more. I can't actually remember if there is another one. But of this current meta, then we're going to have to make a new one. Can the new SRM skill run this fusion? They can run Rhinak. I mean, we can take a look quick, right? Affect monsters in your constructed deck of spellcasters. Yeah, they can run it. They can totally run it. I refuse to believe Apocalypse to be an SR. It has to be an SR, right? Like, I mean, if we can look at the evidence, right? This is from the box. There's a picture of the box. There's the background of the box. It's saying these are all cards from the box. And then we've seen the URs. And there's only 4 in a mini box, unless they're changing the amount of URs we get in a mini box. It's like it has to be. Has to be an SR. Hope there will be 10 free packs. Hopefully, but you never know, really, do you? But this has been a cool meta. It's sad to see it go, but it's going to be leaving. I liked this meta. This meta was cool. I wish I could play in more tournaments with it. I suppose the other thing we'll do is we'll take a look at some OCG decks. So these are some videos that I did before of playing competitively Light Galaxy and Dark Galaxy. So this is what a competitive Light Galaxy deck looked like around the time Light Galaxy Fusion came out. This wasn't like, I don't think this was exactly that meta. This was like a box after, but this is sort of what it looks like. Will be 5 chips. Hey, I'm late again. Hello, Corey. Welcome. But, I mean, let's take a look at the... Bear in mind, this is a 40 card list, right? So it's going to be a little bit different no matter what. But we got the 3 Galactica Oblivion. We got the 3 Boat. We got 3 Lilac. Probably not going to get any of the Water Zen stuff and the Lightweight Dragon, realistically. We're probably not going to have Legend Magician. We're not going to have the statue, the evil statue. You look the same, you're like a puppet. Well, when you hit a certain age, you don't change much over the course of a year. That's just how that kind of works. Then we have the Riker, which is a card we hope we get. We have Klein. We have the Galactic Yara Eve. Then we have Ship of 7 Treasures. Now, don't forget, the skill that they're getting, the skill we're getting for Light Galaxy, is kind of Ship of 7 Treasures. So we're going to have a little bit of a consistency boost to this deck. We're not going to have these back row hate, but that's fine. You just replace the 2 Legend Strike with more copies of the back row hate. 3 Fusion. Again, that's fine, right? We're not going... Well, we don't think we're going to have Monster Reborn, but it's right there. And then Secret Order. So, like, building this deck is actually not that difficult with the cards we have right now. The only thing we're really missing to make this function correctly is going to be the Riker. Sad to see the current meta gone. Probably going to be 2-deck meta from now on. Guess Galaxy and maybe Sevens Road. Well, I mean, Dark Galaxy and Light Galaxy are 2 different decks, and I think they're both going to do well, right? But what we can do as well is we can just take a look at some of the plays from this. So if we go back over here. God, this guy just nothing but YAP, does he? So this is us against Execute. And let's take a little bit look at the gameplay. Let's see what it kind of looks like. So obviously this is like milling, so this is kind of whatever, right? None of this really matters because we haven't gotten to any of the Light Galaxy cards yet, but like assuming we don't just immediately die. Man, this replay makes Execute almost look tame. So going for another mill. Mill another card, activate Ship of 7, so this would be the equivalent of us activating the skill. Execute Catch is going to flip us down again. We're going to go defensive. Barrier Statue, trying to floodgate us so we can't play the game. Yeah, it's not a great one-to-one, because obviously a lot of the stuff in this we're not going to have in Duel Links, but... Get rid of the Barrier Statue, activate the Secret Order, bring back that, activate Fusion, combine all 3 into Eternal, activate Eternal, shuffle 5 cards back, mill 3, gain attack. It's got to 56. So 56 is... Like, it wasn't difficult to get to that 56, right? So our opponent's filtering. They're going to activate Hammer Crush to get rid of our back row. They're summoning out Flame and Lair. Summon out another Lair. Why didn't he use Flame there? Oh well. Makes no difference to us. Extraplorer gets back everything we need. Go into another fusion. Extra Plasma's going to pop a back row. Set a card. We're then going to shuffle 5 back in. Mill 3, gain attack again. Back up to 56, even with the attack reduction. Bam. So this was Seven's Wonder Fusion Turbo. This was arguably like the best deck at the time when this recording was taken. So let's see what we do against the best deck in the room. So he's going to activate Graceful Charity, activate Amazing Dealer. This is basically just to turbo the graveyard. The whole point of this deck is fill the graveyard as quickly as possible and then use Seven's Wonder Fusion to just Miracle Fusion out your boss monster from the grave and win the game. So he's already got half of his fusion in the graveyard. Ship of 7. Again, this is the equivalent of activating the skill. Activate Extra Plasma, or Extraplorer, get back everything we need, summon out, activate Fusion, go into the Extra Plasma, activate Secret Order, bring back the Galactica Oblivion that we will have searched, activate... I mean, this is a little bit awkward because, again, we're not going to have access to that. Then we can fuse all 3 together into the Oblivion, and then we can activate the Secret Order again, bring back the Eternal... Well, we already have the Eternal. Bring out the regular Galactica Oblivion, activate Monster Reborn, which, if you think about it, that could just be, like, another copy of the Secret Order. But the point is, there is some like really cool shit you can do with this deck. There is some like really, really interesting stuff you can do. Rush Simulator, unbelievable people made it. Why wouldn't they make it? It's great. Also, Kim Friend, you should check out my YouTube. There's all sorts of content about the Rush Simulator. But the other list we'll talk about is the Dark Galaxy list, right? So this was like a competitive-ish Dark Galaxy list at the time. As you can see, we've got Pale Rider, We have the Requiems, we have the Chrysaor. We are only playing one copy of Transit and one copy of Elysium, but that's because at the time you'd play between like 7 and 9 boss monsters in a deck. Then we have like Cataphract, we have the Globule. We got everything we have. The only cards we're really missing to make this deck like properly function is going to be the Kyrie, which we spoke about before, and the Protostar. Protostar is the one card that we just don't have yet that feels like we should have it. So if we grab up Protostar quick. This is like the one big combo piece that Dark Galaxy is currently missing that hasn't been announced yet. If we get Protostar, Dark Galaxy is going to be like in a fantastic spot because this just basically climbs. This is like fusion climbing, right? So, made using Globule and Dark Prophet, add a level 4 or lower Galaxy monster from your graveyard to your hand. Then if you have Dark Hole in your graveyard or Dark Hole device, you can special summon a level 8 monster from your graveyard face up to your field. So, just really good. This just gets you your Dark Hole, gets you a level 8 monster from your graveyard. It's fantastic. Now, the big thing with this is that you can get back, like, you know, your Cryosaur, or you can get back your Requiem, which is like really, really good, as well as getting like the Dark Hole is just really, really strong. But these cards, I think realistically, both the Light and the Dark Galaxy decks are going to be so powerful. I think it's going to be hard to like say they're not going to be like tier 1 decks, right? All right, with that, we are going to go over and talk about the new OCG stuff, because there was some new stuff since we last talked about it. So we have Magical Warrior of Heritage. This card, I mean, artwork is neat, I suppose. But this is a level 4 Earth Warrior effect monster. Shuffle 2 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. Choose 1 warrior or spellcaster monster from your graveyard with 2600 attack or 2600 defense. For the rest of this turn, this card's name is treated as the chosen monsters. So cards that we can get: Guildford the Legend, Celebro Gossip Witch, Legendary Swordsman Buster Blader, Hero of the Kin, Buster Blader, Moon Swordmaster, and then Road, Apostle Magus, Magician of Black Chaos, Magician of Dark Sevens, and Strange Clouder. So, it's neat. Then we have more high-tech dragon stuff, and more importantly, this is the card I want to look at. This card looks awesome. Like, just the artwork on this card, I'm like, yeah, edgy dragon, he's got like guns on it. Like, what's not to love? He's got like a mechanical arm going on here. So this is Violet Scale Enhanced Blast Dragon. So 3500 level 10, made using Blue Fang and Red Boot. During your turn, this card gains attack equal to the original attack of the face-up monster with the highest original attack on the opponent's field. That 1 year younger Tom. Yeah, back in the day. Overall, I think this is... I mean, it's fine. I think it looks cool, though. Definitely looks cool. And then finally, we have our new dinosaur monster. This is finally a dinosaur fusion, but it's like not a great dinosaur fusion. The issue is, this card still forces you to run Brachio Radius, which is a really bad card that we don't want to play. So, like, it's a bit awkward. But you can summon this during your opponent's turn with a fusion trap card. So that's at least something, right? That is at least something. But that is it for the reveals. So, with that said, I think we're just going to do a summary, right? We're just going to summarize. I think that Light Galaxy and Dark Galaxy are both going to be insanely fun. It's generic, though. I mean, it is, but there's only... Like, realistically, you're only going to be running 2 different cards you can make with it. You're not going to want to play the fusion spell card, so you're only going to be using the trap card. Which means you have to, during your opponent's turn, summon it using the trap, then have your Brachio Radius die, and then you summon out the new one that you want to summon to actually get its effect off. So, like, it's a bit awkward. I think Light Galaxy is going to be really fun and really strong. I think Dark Galaxy is going to be really good. I think, again, what Dark Galaxy really needs is Proto. If Dark Galaxy gets Protostar, they're going to have, like, everything. They're going to have everything they need. So Proto is, like, really the card that's kind of the glue that's going to hold everything together. Whereas Light Galaxy, I feel like it's just going to have everything it needs anyway. The Spellcasters, I'm a little bit skeptical on. I think until we see what else is in this deck and what else is going to be in the box for the Spellcasters, they're going to be fine, but I'm hesitant to say they're going to be, like, busted. I think I want to see a little bit more. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what they get. But we did say that today was going to be a shorter stream. So that is going to do us for today. Unfortunately, we're going to be very, very busy this week. So I have to try and get as much done as humanly possible. So we are going to have to cut the stream short a little bit. Then I can go and eat and then just go and get on with as much stuff as I can. But we will be back on Friday. We don't know when. We do not know what time on Friday. We'll have to work it out, and then I will post a announcement about it on the Discord. So anyone that wants to can go over to the Discord with !Discord and see our notifications there. We will be doing a stream when the new box drops. It's going to be very exciting. I'm very excited to play with the new cards. I think it's going to be awesome. But thank you for the stream, Mr. Tomato. Have a great day. Thank you for watching, Sakadetsu, and thank you everyone else for watching. Today's been a blast. Again, back on Friday, and then we'll be back again on Sunday for another stream. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
You are vacuuming. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen.
Already? Tomorrow with a raid? The hell? I haven't even started yet. Hello, Tomorrow. How are you? I hope you're doing well.